Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a brand new episode of the Rob Dog Sport Brief, where we will be talking about everything sports, whether it is from the local level with high school and college and even the Northwoods League to the pros with the NFL and all that. With that being said, we're going to dive right into the deep end with the NFL because, unfortunately, nobody wants to hear about 108 stitches, which is a tragedy because, God forbid, we talk baseball to get through the harsh winter, especially when we're this close to Christmas, and start talking about the greatest sport in the world, which is baseball. Contrary to what Stephen A. Smith and the idiots at ESPN claim, baseball is still relevant, and it is the greatest sport in the world. But with that being said, the NFC, the postseason's wide open for that playoff picture. I'm going to say it now, it's wide open. Especially after last night, we all knew Rams-Seahawks was going to be a good game. And at first, it started out looking like it wasn't going to be as good a game. And oh boy, am I glad I was wrong there. It turned into a thriller, like an overtime thriller with the Seahawks getting a 2-point conversion at the end to win it after giving up the touchdown to win 38-37. But going into this game, a lot of people were picking the Rams. I think I did too in my pick'em leagues I'm in, but we all thought the Rams would win because Sam Darnold couldn't win the big games. Like Darnold didn't have the ability to win the big games. But after after yesterday and last night's game, the question is, does this prove that Darnold can win the big games? I'd have to say, yeah, he can. He very much can. He's like any other quarterback. If you get the right system around him, you can win any football game. You can also lose any football game. But with that going on there, Stafford and Nakua, they look great. Like, they both look good. Puka Nakua popped off. Like, you could double, triple team him, and he was still making alien catches, getting the ball. No, there was no answer for him. And he was the definition of a game changer. But when your defense you go down the field score and you just watch your defense, not get a stop, the most you can do is just what he was doing, sitting there on the sideline and watching. But, yeah, the question is, though, well, granted, yeah, I said he can win the big games because if he has the right system around him. He also had 2 interceptions, and he threw 6 interceptions throughout the season in both games against the Rams. So Darnold is a quarterback where if you can get to him, you can shut them down. It's just, last night, he overcame adversity. He overcame every hurdle he made, even the self-inflicted wounds, and they won that game. I'm hoping I can see Chicago do the same thing against the Packers Saturday, which leads us right into our next thing, which obviously is the Bears and Packers, with Bear-Packer being played Saturday. What does this mean? Well, the winner of that game is going to be the 2 seed, the loser is going to be the 7 seed, or might not even make the playoffs as a whole, which, boy, would that suck. However, Packer fans, they're feeling what the Lion fans felt last year. Like last week versus the Broncos, when I was watching it, the second Parsons went down, it was like, oh boy, there goes their season. Like, now they're just hoping it's a clean tear where they can have him back by next season, but no defensive edge rusher is usually the same coming back from that kind of injury. So now the question is, what's next? What is going to be next for them? And honestly, if you ask me, They're just take it one day at a time. Come up with some kind of game plan for the Bears. However, it's gonna be interesting because from what little bit I did see in the Bear-Packer game round 1, because I was working, which I'll be working again for round 2 as well, sadly. They you can try and blitz, but the Packers blitz, edge rushing and all that isn't going to be as effective like we saw in Denver because you have no Curry Walker. Wait, no, you have Curry Walker. You don't have Dontavian Wyatt. You don't have Parsons. That's leaving you with, on that front edge, Lucas Van Ness and Rashad Gary. That's not exactly what Packer fans were hoping for. It's not very ideal. Your secondary is, I'm starting to think Micah Parsons helped hide a lot of flaws with that defense because we saw it. Granted, Bo Nix is a damn good quarterback. You were able to see the flaws with the Packers secondary. Don't worry, guys. Yes, I know I'm wearing a Bears shirt. I will get to pointing out the flaws of the Bears, too. Because good God, do we know there's plenty of them to be there, because it's the Bears. But between whatever's left of the Packers defense, and for some ungodly reason, they never are able to figure out special teams. Which might be why it's called special teams. The Packers, Jordan Love's going to have to put on a Superman cape. It's his show. He's the leader. He's going to have to rally them more than ever. Like, he has Josh Jacobs. But however, I don't know if he can do it himself without Zach Tom and the being that lineman guarding his blind side. Because you saw versus Denver, instead of like 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, he had to like snap and throw, and get snap and throw, or run for his life because he was under siege after losing Zach Tom. So he can do it. He's gonna need Josh Jacobs to step it up a lot, and whatever's left of the receiving room. So Matthew Golden, it's time. It's now or never to show why you were a first-round pick. But regarding the Packers right now, their biggest concern is whatever's left of your defense. Before Parsons got hurt, I'd say the special teams is what's going to hurt you. But now, we're going to find out what Jeff Hafley's made of. We're going to find out what Matt LaFleur is made of. We're going to see what the Packers coaching staff is truly made of and what they can do. We're also going to see how that defense can look versus mobile quarterbacks like Caleb Williams and Lamar Jackson these next 2 weeks without Rashad Gary. Well, actually, Rashad Gary is still there. My bad. But you get the point. Though I don't think Packer fans would mind losing Rashad Gary because he's been obsolete most of the season. However, without Parsons and without Dontavian Wyatt, they don't have a whole lot to work with there. It's going to be interesting. I could see Green Bay trying to dial up a few more blitzes here and there, but the scheme they run, they're not a blitz-heavy team. Like, they are not a very... Like, they'll do it occasionally, but they're not a team that's known for the blitz this year. It's not like the Bears with Dennis Allen on the other sideline, where they are blitzing, and they are trying to take the ball away and get more takeaways. But I will say this right here with the Bears, their biggest problems on defense is, at times, you have guys like Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson who can't even keep track of the likes of Bo Melton and get the lids blown off by Bo Melton and a couple other guys like that. So the Bears secondary also kind of concerns me. They don't have a whole lot of their to speak of in their linebacker room, which is very concerning as well. But they also, granted, Rome Odunze hasn't done much this season. Odunze is out hurt. And so Luther Burden's out hurt too, which means the Bears are going to be down 2 of their wide receivers. But the Bears are more of a run-heavy team. So we're going to see just how the Bears can adapt to this, as well as Green Bay. Ben Johnson's done a decent job. He's done everything I could ask for besides a Super Bowl at this point. They've overachieved. I did not think going into Week 16, if the Bears win Saturday, they would be in the playoffs with year 1 of Ben Johnson and year 2 of Caleb Williams. I thought they would be 9-8 or 8-9, somewhere along those lines. I figured 8 or 9 wins, that was the ceiling. Absolute best. And the absolute worst was a repeat of last year at 5-12 and it looking ugly. So this year has been a very pleasant surprise. However, I am still very much petrified they're going to lose to that team. I don't know why it is. No matter how good the Bears are, they seem to just never be allowed to beat that team. But if the Bears can adapt and get over the fact that the Packers don't have Micah Parsons, Dontavian Wyatt, Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson's a question mark, Zach Tom, the mountain high laundry list of injuries the Packers are facing. If they can get over that, Chicago probably will win the game. And honestly, even as a Bear fan, going into this game, before the Bronco game, I figured, Chicago's going to probably lose to the Packers again because that Parsons is too much of a game changer on that defense. But now, after what I saw the Packers defense look like the very second they lost Parsons and the wind being taken out of their sails, Chicago's probably going to win that game. And when they do, assuming they win this game, there really won't be as much to be proud of. I better not see one Packer fan saying, you only won that game because we didn't have Parsons, or you only won this game because we were without Tucker Kraft and our team hurt. Because guess what, guys? Shit happens. If you're going to be out taking to Twitter making those excuses like that because your team lost, and saying, well, it's because we didn't have this, this, and this. Just like last year when you lost. You said, well, it was the backups without Jordan Love and all that. Just accept the fact that this year, you were like the Lions last year. Your window was wide open. The injury bug slammed it shut in your face. You'll still make the playoffs and you'll still be good and competitive. But next year will be a telltale year. And the offseason is going to be interesting. Just like the Bears lose, there's not going to be any... There really isn't going to be any excuses. They'll have some fans, oh, well, we were without Odunze and Burden. And it's just stop with the excuses. It's Bear Packer. The most random outcomes happen. Most of the time it's benefited the Packers on the randomness. However, we can't just keep, oh, well, it's enough with the excuses. I'm tired of whenever a sports team loses, their fans, the first thing you see is excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. But when they win, we's a super team that's going to the Super Bowl. Wow, that was a really bad impersonation of some random fan base. That was a really terrible Steelers and Bears fan combo mix impersonation with a little bit of Jerry Jones Cowboys in there. However, you get the point. If the Packers win this game, all their fans are going to take to Twitter going, we're a super team, we're going to the Super Bowl, we own you. But if the Bears win, it's going to be the same thing, while the Packers fans are going to be like, cool, you actually won 2 times in 2 years, and actually in 2 and 2 in 2 years, cool. But, guys, it's just a football game. Let's just remember at the end of the day, while we'll be frustrated with the outcome at first, let's not let however a football game goes determine how we interact with our friends, family, girlfriends, boyfriends, you name it. And just realize it's a football game. They're just fighting over a stupid piece of pigskin. It took me until I was like 20, 21 years old or something like that to accept the fact that it's just a game. It doesn't determine anything in my everyday life. So let's do the same, shall we? If the Bears win, whoop-de-doo, I'll be happy. If the Bears lose, oh no, they won 10 games. I'm still happy. If the Packers lose, Packer fans, you're still making the playoffs this year. So look at the rest of the NFC. If they win, please, for the love of God, stop making the "we own you" jokes and all these memes on how we suck and all, and realize that that's what the Kansas City Chiefs fans and New England Patriot fans were like for all those years. It drove everyone nuts. There are other fan bases besides just you, so let's knock that off and just be civilized no matter the outcome, shall we? Just crack a cold one. But the AFC side of things, now that we got this over, the race for the 1 seed's basically over. New England had it, they shot themselves in the foot, and Denver capitalized. I still think that AFC title game's going to be Denver and New England. Everyone else is kind of just there. But I am going to say this year's going to be rather refreshing because for the first time in over a decade, we won't see the Chiefs. We're going to, for the first time since 2021, have a Super Bowl without Mahomes or Tom Brady. And we're going to actually get to have a decent, we're going to see, unless Philadelphia somehow figures it out, odds are we're going to see 2 different teams in the Super Bowl. No, I'm not going to be like that one dude on ESPN saying that there should be an asterisk drawn next to whoever wins the AFC in the Super Bowl because it's not a true champion because he didn't have to beat Mahomes. Just more proof why no one should take them seriously. However, the AFC side of things, it's not as good and compact as the NFC is. Like the AFC will give you a few good games, but the NFC is stronger. I'll generally say they're going to be good games to watch, but this year's the first year in a while, I don't really know what to expect from the NFL postseason because it's like, after all these years, it's like, okay, either Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen are going to have to be forced to lose their obligated AFC title game lost to the Chiefs. And now, I don't know. For all we know, maybe Josh Allen does get over the hill. He does get to a Super Bowl. He does win the Super Bowl. And the people claiming, oh, well, it'll be sitting in the back of Allen's mind that he didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't have to beat Mahomes to get there. He's not going to care at the end of the day. Whoever gets the Super Bowl ring and has the bling to go on their hand will not care about, oh, well, I didn't have to beat Patrick Mahomes to get there. Just like the years you didn't have to beat Tom Brady to get there. The winning team didn't go, oh, well, the Super Bowl doesn't count because I didn't have to beat Tom Brady. they enjoyed the Super Bowl win the way you're supposed to. Are we going to be saying, like, if the Brewers win a World Series, but the Dodgers somehow miss it, and they didn't have to beat the Dodgers to get there, or you think the Brewers are going to be like, but we're not the real champions because we didn't have to beat Shohei Ohtani, Hiroki Sasaki, Yamamoto, Freddie Freeman. No, that's not how it works. So ultimately, this year's NFL postseason is actually going to be fun to watch. Like, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know what to expect, which is what we needed. We have been needing a season with this kind of parity for a long time. It was long overdue. Because for the last few years, like, I am not kidding you, last year I did not watch the Super Bowl. Like, I was not watching that Super Bowl. I did not waste my time with it. I watched the highlights just to have enough to cover it and talk about the main points for the show. But ultimately, I did not care about a Super Bowl that was the Eagles and Chiefs, which was the second time in 3 years, and the year before that when it was Chiefs 49ers, and that was, which was also the second, and it's like, so if we look at like the last, every Super Bowl since 2020 was, the 2020 season, the 2019 season was Chiefs and Buccaneers. Thank you, Tom Brady, for winning that one. 2020 was the Chiefs and 49ers. 2021 was the Bengals and Rams, and we did not appreciate, we truly didn't appreciate what we had, realizing that that was going to be the only Super Bowl for a while with two different teams. Then the year after that, 2022, you guessed it, Chiefs Eagles. 2023, Chiefs 49ers. 2024, once again, Chiefs and Eagles. So this year, we need if the Eagles lose in the postseason, which I'm pretty sure they will this year, we're all going to be able to kick back and enjoy a Super Bowl that has two different teams, which has been needed. Baseball, up until the Dodgers decided to buy everybody, it was, you had different team after different team after different team, which is good. You had small markets going on runs, which was good. But now, baseball is starting to kind of slowly gravitate towards what football and basketball have become, with super teams where the regular season doesn't really matter. You just gotta do just enough to sneak in. But with that being said, I think we've covered enough football for today. And we're going to go into some NBA talk with, well, the biggest rumor mill that is making everything catch fire, including the cooler holding the Gatorade, somehow. And people thinking that Giannis wants out of Milwaukee. We've been doing this every year. For how many years? Non-stop. Every single year. It's the same old thing of, well, Giannis was on Milwaukee. Giannis was on Milwaukee. Stephen A. Smith, Shams, all the ESPN personalities. He wants out of Milwaukee. He's going to be leaving Milwaukee. He's leaving Milwaukee. He's going to be a Knick. He's going to be a Sun. He's going to be a Warrior. He's going to be a Laker. Because you know why they keep saying this year after year after year after year? Until the day comes where they can say, we told you so. They can't comprehend that the biggest name superstar that I would argue is the face of basketball right now plays in Milwaukee with the Bucks. They can't comprehend that a small market team actually has a international superstar. They cannot comprehend it. They don't like it. They don't like the small markets when they get stars. ESPN loves super teams in big markets like New York, San Francisco, LA. You see a trend? They don't want to see the small teams do good. They never have. Because they've pushed that belief on us that nobody's going to watch unless it's a big market team. Just like they've pushed the belief on us that nobody watches baseball nobody'd be watching baseball, and they claimed that if the World Series was Brewers Mariners or Brewers Blue Jays, nobody was going to be watching because it didn't involve Los Angeles. Which is wrong and false. But, anyways, now that I've gone down the rabbit hole, they don't realize that Giannis it sounds like he doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. He's happy where he is. Maybe someday he'll leave. And if he does, he does. But it's not happening this year. And you know why I know it's not happening this year? Because the Bucks GM doesn't want to be remembered as the guy that traded away Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just like the Angels GM on the last year of Ohtani, when they could have traded him somewhere and cashed in like the biggest cash in you would have seen for a trade. He chose not to do it because he didn't want to be remembered as the guy who traded Shohei Ohtani. Just like in football, granted it's different, in the prime, let's say something like this was happening with New England, you think, well, actually, that might be a good example because Bill Belichick was the coach and GM, so we'll delay that. We'll say, like, right now, let's say they were saying, oh, Patrick Mahomes trading him. Would you think that Chiefs GM would want to be remembered as the guy who traded Patrick Mahomes? So that's why it's not going to happen. We saw what happened in Dallas when they traded Luka. That guy's never going to get a GM job or a job in a front office ever again. Because he traded a superstar away for a bag of peanuts. And not just regular peanuts that you can eat. Packing peanuts that are little tiny things of styrofoam that are worthless. That is why it won't happen. We don't want to see this again. No GM wants to be remembered the way Dallas's GM is going to forever be known, of trading away not only the superstar, but the corner piece of your franchise, especially when in the NBA, all you have to do is be like slightly above 500 and you can make the playoffs with the whole play-in tournament garbage now, because Adam Silver's obsessed with tournaments. Which, yay, go Knicks. They won the in-season tournament, I guess. Good job. Nobody cares. Nobody's celebrating. And everybody's sitting there looking at the in-season tournament laughing. And that was year 3 of it, and we all still laugh at it collectively. I want to see my team win the championship that actually matters in the Larry O'Brien. Not the Adam Silver Cup or whatever the hell they named it. I think it's just the Commissioner Cup. But either way, that proves your point. So yeah, Giannis isn't going anywhere. But in the off chance he does, Milwaukee's going to cash in. Because you're going to get at least one or two guys that can play now to plug it in. Your entire draft for the next century, it feels like. And yeah. So it will be interesting, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. And now, we're gonna go talk about the greatest sport on earth, and that is baseball. Because we have to do what some would say is called saving the best for last. Because you can't start out with the best thing. You gotta end with the best thing. And right now, there is nothing better than baseball. There is no other sport better than baseball, boys. Please, God, do not let there be a lockout in 2027. But anyways, the hot stove, it's staying warm. There's quite a few things I have missed here and there because I've been busy with finals this last couple of weeks. But the Royals, they traded for Matt Strahm from the Phillies. The Pirates were a part of a 3-team trade that got them Brandon Lowe, which that's a low blow for them, I guess. Sorry, couldn't help it with a terrible pun. But now, I will say this, the Brewers, they've been staying fairly quiet, but that's because they had themselves a team. They got themselves a team. I still don't really understand the Akil Baddoo signing, which it's kind of weird that they signed him and going, oh, well, we have too much outfield depth, but we're going to sign another outfielder. And then when they signed Baddoo, they turned around and made a trade where I was sitting there scratching my head. However, I'm not going to question the best front office in all of baseball right now. Because they traded Isaac Collins and Nick Mears, both, for one relief pitcher. So, I'm sure he's going to be good, but Collins, they still had 5 years of control with him on two years of league minimum. So I don't get what they were doing other than, oh, well, trusting a statistical spreadsheet saying the data is claiming he's going to be on the decline here soon, which, okay, but okay. I'm not going to question what they're doing because I've learned that the front office with the GM, the scouts and all that, and the scouting department are good at what they do. You know who's not good at what they do for the team? Mark Antanasio. My God, Mark, would it kill you to not pocket all this money and have pocket sand and actually try and help build a team? My God, it would have been nice to see an owner who cares. And I don't mean just caring about his British soccer team. I mean caring about the team here in Milwaukee with the Brewer fans. We want to see a championship. We're tired of just, ooh, we lost in the NLCS. Ooh, can't wait to do this 7 years later. So yeah, I don't know what he's doing. The Brewers, I'll never question them. As long as they're winning like this. Because just look at what the Cubs are doing. The Ricketts, honestly, outside of even Steve Cohen and the Mets are not spending. We're outside of the Dodgers, which is, and there's some strange reason the Blue Jays. It's teams are refusing to spend money, which is gonna hurt the game too. Because you got the Dodgers just buying up everyone and anyone in sight for their super team. But I'm waiting patiently for the day that comes back to haunt them because of, what was it? Oh, before they signed Diaz and a couple other guys, $1.047 billion in deferred money going through the 2047 season. So they're not going to have any money for a long time here pretty soon. But that being said, there really isn't a whole lot going on in the world of baseball. However, there was one thing that popped up on my radar locally with the Cooley region baseball world, and that was the Northwoods League. And what they did. I learned about this Wednesday night, and it did not have the fans happy. I genuinely do not think this was a very good move by the Northwoods League. As we can tell if you look behind me, I follow the Northwoods with that Loggers pennant behind me, a Loggers hat up there, a steam rally towel from opening night for the first time in the first ever game in their existence. So I follow the Northwoods League and root for my local team. But this move the Northwoods did isn't good. They signed a deal with Flow Sports. So for 2.5 months, if you want to watch the game and you're not there in person, and you're not fortunate enough to live in an area where your team still is on the radio, hey, Dan Kapanke, take notes. Like, genuinely take notes if you still have a goddamn love of baseball. Like, I will say, this is the part of me as a fan, not a sports host. And this is to the owners like the Kapankes. And I'm referencing them because they own the Loggers, the team where I live. Take out your notebook. Start jotting down notes on behalf of every single fan. You had something that was great. Loggers baseball was a beautiful thing. It made me and thousands of other kids across the Cooley region like me fall in love with baseball. We had it all. Whether our team won, whether our team lost, we knew at the end of the day we would be able to still have the interaction with the players, and we got in arguably the most beautiful field in the league outside of Madison and Eau Claire with Eau Claire's historic field and some of these other ones that have been around. But we had what you could argue was the most beautiful field with the Black River behind you, so where you have the beautiful sunsets with the ball field lighting. Everything was there. $5 tickets, things that it was affordable, family friendly. You had a whole family section down the entire third base line, basically going damn near to the bullpen. And it's gone. All of this is gone. It started with the turf field when we put in this artificial turf. And then after the turf happened, magically the prices started to uptick. And then around the 2020 happened. Granted, the pandemic was a weird year, but then they pulled the plug from the radios that we listened to and made it harder for us to listen to the games going on the Mix IR app, and had every other advertisement just being vote for me, or one or two advertisements for businesses that you were probably buddy with. And that didn't help the fans either, because we already couldn't go to the games as much as we wanted because we were scared of what would come next. But we still had that consistency of Loggers baseball. Then came the rebrand, which was one of the worst rebrands I've seen in my life. You went away from a concept that worked with families, where in the family setting, the pinstripe uniforms were gone and came back with these god-awful white jerseys with this weird L chainsaw thing and a weird guy all doped up on steroids holding a tree log. You got rid of Logger Dog for the most part, and the mascots that the kids loved basically disappeared on top of your artificial turf. The radio broadcasts didn't exist. The games were behind paywalls and weren't free. And then, on top, to make matters worse, you rose the prices up again. The big family setting thing, like this big rock and a wooden baseball bat that said Loggers Baseball. They're like, I have a family picture of me and my family in front of for our first game. Like every season, we'd always have a picture of the family in front of that bat and rock painted like a ball because it was a family thing. But then that disappeared. It got turned into a lacrosse baseball walk of fame with this really ungodly, horrible front thing, with this entrance, with this horrible, world's most annoying victory bell. And even then, with all those changes, the fans, we still kept coming because we loved baseball. We didn't have a very good product on the field. We didn't mind paying going from $5 tickets to like $8 or $9 tickets. But now, it's gotten crazy. It's out of control. It's like a $12 to $15 ticket for these same tickets that my family sat in that were $5. The view hasn't changed. The experience has changed, but not for the right reasons. The last few games I've been to, my love letter to baseball isn't what you would want to hear. Because, well, yeah, the service was great, but the family feeling is gone. I don't see many families at those games anymore. I just see more and more people that are seeing how many beers they can down and it becoming a drunk fest with a sideshow of baseball, which isn't what we need. And then, well, here rolled in ESPN Plus from the Northwoods League as well. And when our teams made the postseason, the fans like me couldn't watch it or listen to it unless we had ESPN Plus. So once again, the fans were blocked out, and we weren't even a thought in the ownership's mind of the people who own the league or these teams. And then came another rebrand. And all these alter ego alternate uniforms with these weird lederhosen things, the old style jerseys. It's like, you don't even, it's like maybe one day a week you might actually see the Loggers wearing a jersey that just says Loggers and know what they are. And all this, and the Flow Sports thing on top of it, just showing that the owners and the front offices for the league don't care about us, the fan. The average fan of the Northwoods League is being left behind. And it's honestly heartbreaking knowing that a league where the people up at the very top of the league cared about their fans and had owners who cared about their fans and family experiences and wanted the ballpark to be a place for families and friends to go to have a good night and not have to worry about anything, is gone in the name of money, just so they can make a few extra bucks and airing their games, both the baseball and softball games, behind a $20 a month paywall on Flow Sports. This was not the right decision, guys. The fans, all you're doing is gonna hurt it. The softball experiment, if you're putting it behind a $20 a month paywall, no, people already quit going after the first season from what I saw. I didn't go to a single one in the second year because didn't have a reason to. I don't have a reason to go this year. Honestly, I don't even think I have a reason to go back to the Logger games either because it's not what it used to be. It lost its small town baseball feeling where everybody got to enjoy it and it wasn't just a bunch of drunks with prices going up. I can't afford a lager game anymore like I used to, guys. It's gotten that bad. The Northwoods League's just all they care about's money. And honestly, like I said, because the Kapankis are the people who own the loggers where I live, if you are listening to this and you have a single ounce of heart and love of the game left, and not just a love of the green, you better have been one of the owners. If it works like with where the owners get to have say with what the league do, that said this is a bad idea. And if you didn't, I hope you're happy knowing that you slapped the lacrosse area in its face and told us we don't matter. And you told all the fans we don't matter because all that matters is the money. And when the fans stop going and the money dries up, you'll have no one else to blame but yourselves when you look in the mirror as a league and every ownership of these teams. Because this is how you kill off baseball and softball, and the people's love of the games are gone. I'm not paying that $20 a month for Flow Sports. I'll just post the scores and watch the highlights, and if the Loggers win, cool. I guess I'll be a fair weather fan where if they make a playoff run, root for my team, but know that ultimately deep down, because all they care about is money, I won't be able to see it. I won't get to relive the experiences I had in 2012 when I was there in person with my family and we were all able to enjoy it, because those days are gone. And unfortunately, I don't think the Northwoods League is going to figure this out. And it's only going to get worse every year. And eventually, the fans won't come. So if you have a love of the game, please everyone, you can just come watch the Lacrosse 35ers, the Holman Features, the Viroqua Sox, the La Crescent Cardinals, the Norwalk Knights, the Sparta Miller, or wherever you're... because those are the teams in the Mississippi Valley League for your local amateur town ball team. Because we don't charge a thing. All you have to do is show up, and you can drink whatever you want, eat whatever you want, and just enjoy baseball. It's where I encourage you to go and watch your local town ball teams and support your town ball teams, because we're free. And when the WBA makes us charge for regional, we make it the minimal price possible. So it's like the River Falls, it was just $5, and that was it. So yeah, this is heartbreaking knowing that something I grew up loving and had in my life every summer will never be the same. And it's all because in the name of money and corporate greed. The quality of play on the field went downhill. But ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, even though I won't be in the stands because they drove me away, I will still root for the Loggers and have a love of baseball, which I hope is the case for all of us, even though the writing's on the wall here that the people who run the Northwoods and their teams don't care about us anymore. With that being said, that's how I'm going to wrap up this episode, even if it is on a more sad note. And for the love of God, if the owners truly care about us, the fans, they will find a way to put an end to this and make it more family friendly and affordable once again.